Well, crap. How about now? Listen, sometimes Tim and them cut the daggum mics off. I don't know why they do it. And I should have checked. I should have checked. When I'm here by myself, I never cut the mics off. So anyway, let's start it all over again. Thank you guys for joining. It is a free-for-all Friday. Yeah. What's up, Alex? Free-for-all Friday here at FNGO. So that makes sense now. We can hear now, Houston. Listen, Alex runs it a certain way. Tim runs it a certain way. Tony runs it a certain way. And I should just know to check afterwards. But for Tim cut the mics off right there. So I think he did it because we always, after the show, have a very long conversation, and he don't want people to hear what we say. As soon as he hits that end stream, we go right into the stuff. Emil was a fantastic guest last night. Absolutely. Dock lights tonight. There you go, Alex. Tonight, you might as well get on the water tonight. You might as well. But anyway, you guys were back on TikTok after our 1 week separation from you guys. So I hope you guys will join us. You know, you say you run it the best, Alex. There you go. Hey, listen, I love all of you guys, but I never, ever go back and check to make sure that the mics are on. And of course, I didn't. I just assumed, but I've been right there in front of the computer all morning, and I just didn't check. So I absolutely messed that up. So that's on me. I should know better. But anyway, yeah, guys, last night was really good. And I wish you guys could have stayed for afterwards. Anytime you're in the area and we do the live well, sometimes the best juice is before the show and after the show. You guys get a really, really good, you guys get a little bit of it, but I'm telling you, you get some stuff that you just can't hear or say on the show. What's up, Colton, Doc Holliday, Fred Ashcraft? It was really good. I've had a couple guys text me this morning. They're like, Emil is the perfect guest because he's so laid back. He knows what he's talking about. He's got the experience doing all the stuff that he's doing. But Emil's just, I'm telling you, he's one of the most genuine. I still call him kid. I call him kid. That's anybody younger than me, you're kid. I can't call Doc Holliday kid. He calls me kid. Tyler, you know what? I didn't ask him about guiding, but I can shoot him a thing. Hey, Danny, coming to you from the Oconee River, and they're biting like crazy today. That's awesome. I would have given an arm and a leg to be there in person. I'll come up to one soon after my surgery. You're always welcome. I mean, he's just a guy, dude, though. Coleman, he's a great guy. He's just a guy, though. I don't know if I'd give an arm and leg like that. I wouldn't do it, and Emil wouldn't do it for me. I guarantee you that. But in all seriousness, he is perfect because he's just, man, he is even keel as much as anybody that's ever been on the show before. Just even keel. And, go back, check it out. It's a great interview. Let's go ahead and do this. So you guys get your thoughts together on what we're going to talk about, what you guys want to talk about today. I'm going to do the day in history like we always do because I want everybody to know what happened, give you some, water cooler talk or whatever if you're out on the construction site or whatever. What's up, Tony? Interesting day today, though. And here's why, it comes with hurricanes. It's all about hurricanes on this date. So everybody knows about Katrina. 2005, Hurricane Katrina struck the Gulf Coast near Burris, Triumph, Louisiana, breaching the levees, causing floods, devastated New Orleans. It's the costliest storm in U.S. history. Nearly 1,400 people lost their lives and an estimated $200 billion in damages. That was on this date in 2005. Fast forward, or come closer to us, in 2021, okay, Hurricane Ida basically hit the same area, a little bit off the center of the storm, but basically the same area in Louisiana. Knocked out all the power to New Orleans, was one of the most powerful storms to ever come. But here's what's, and I don't know if the word cool is the right word to use, but something interesting. Hurricane Ida actually caused the Mississippi River to flow backwards. That's how strong the winds and everything coming in with Ida and how powerful that storm was that the Mississippi River, at least for some sections, flowed backwards. And that was on this day in 2021. Think of how much power it would take to make the Mississippi, the mighty Mississippi, actually run backwards. And I can't, we were, when we were filming for the Real American Road Trip, we were down at Port St. Joe on Black's Island, and a tropical storm had come across Florida and come up the Gulf, and we were right in the middle of the tropical storm. Now, again, it's just a tropical storm. We're not even talking hurricane. But we sat on that island and watched the wind blow, and we're talking 50, 60 mile an hour sustained, not just gust, but just sustained. I cannot imagine. I've never been in a hurricane. I cannot imagine the power of the wind in one of these big Cat 5, Cat 4 storms. Because just sitting in there on the island, 50, 60 mile an hour winds, which didn't make us, it didn't push us side to side either way. None of that stuff, none of the, you see the weather guys that kind of fake it. We didn't do none of that stuff. But it was still pretty strong. So, I just can't imagine. And I can't imagine just how hard it has to be for the Mississippi River to go back. Chris Garrison, good to see you again, buddy. When I was on active duty, we were activated for Katrina, and it was awful. I can't even imagine, buddy. Cannot even imagine. A lot of us watched it on the news. We saw the news reports, and it looks bad, but until you're actually there, I don't think you could ever appreciate. And that goes with any news report that has, a natural disaster or something that's really bad. I think you got to be there. The news didn't do it any justice, and I'm sure it didn't. It looked terrible, but yeah, your perspective, your eyeballs saw something that a lot of us, probably a good thing we didn't see. I don't know if a lot of people could handle that. Let's see. Oh, okay. You really enjoyed Emil's class at Hammond's last year. He's good. He's a good teacher. When I was younger, I hated older folks calling me kid. Now I'm in my mid-40s and deal with some kids in their late 30s. I get it now. I do it affectionately. What's up, kid? I do it to Alex, all of them. If you're younger than me, by 1 year. I don't do it for Tim. Tim's older than I am. And Tony's kind of close. But yeah, they're all kids to me. Brandy Flockett would say it's because of live scope. Nah, come on now. We're going to be nice to Randy today. All right. Making some drop shot swivels. Any tools for twisting wire you recommend just using a vise and pliers? Kid or youngin? That's right. Youngins a lot. Just out of curiosity, where are you putting your swivel? I'm curious as to why you're putting a swivel on a drop shot. Because generally, if you're casting it, I don't ever have a problem with line twist drop shotting, even if I'm casting it. So I'm just curious as to, is that what you're doing it for line twist? Just let me know, Atlanta Outdoors. What's up, John? Alex says he's been in a few hurricanes and tropical storms. Hurricane Harvey was his last one. And John says hurricanes are not very good. I gotta watch how I say things. I don't want to get in trouble with TikTok again. Hurricanes are not good. Roof got tore off when I was younger. It was nuts. I bet it was. And I think Coleman has already started taking his post-surgery meds, no doubt. He's happy today. It's Friday. It is Friday. VMC makes a hook with built-in swivels. And I think what you're talking about, Chris, if that was you, I don't know who Abdullah is that wants to invite me to go live with him, but I'm not going to do that. No, sirree, Abdul, not today. Are you talking about the Nico kind of spin shot? I don't know if they do it for a drop shot. I know the other night when we did an episode where we had the tank, and just to kind of put the drop shot lures on, I just grabbed a VMC Nico spin shot, and it was kind of like that. It does swivel all the way around. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about or if they have another one. That's what we had in the shop. Unfortunately, this is my normal brain, Doc. He's hoping that the meds will help him. The hooks have a swivel on top and a swivel on the bottom. Okay, I haven't seen those. I'm sure they're around. Generally, when I drop shot, I just get a drop shot hook or a wacky. I'll use a wacky hook sometimes. Palomar knot straight down. So I don't really ever use. What's up, C-Mix? I don't ever really use a swivel at all. Braid to fluoro really don't deal with line twist too much on my setups. Let's see. And yeah, John says, Coleman, glad you're doing well. John, you left some stuff here at the store. It is worth a try. I'll do that. I'll look at it. I just never done it. But in all honesty, I don't drop shot that much. I really don't. I kind of, Definitely don't do the vertical drop shot like everybody used to do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Some guys still do it. I'm more of a caster and then a slow drag on like semi slack line. But I would rather, most of the time, I'd rather throw a shaky head or something like that. Good old Carolina rig. Now, that's how I do my drop shot, Danny. But when and if I boat flip, the line twists go insane. Well, I don't boat flip. I don't boat flip nothing. I don't catch anything big enough, to not boat flip. But I use such a small hook. I use the smallest hook I can use no matter what. Like I will throw a number one in my wacky. And that's what I use. So it's always a net or getting my hand up under. But you mentioned, Chris, and I don't know if you got to watch our live well last night. I was very surprised when we were talking to Emil because everybody thinks young anglers not drop shot, young anglers forward facing sonar. And don't get me wrong, they use it. But he talked about a lot of techniques last night that if you'd listen to him, old school stuff. And he mentioned Carolina rig. So you got Emil out there throwing the Carolina rig on the Bassmaster Elites. You probably didn't see it on camera. You probably didn't see guys, on camera doing that very much. But he said he did it, which I was like, okay, Carolina rig, the old ball and chain. What's up, Cody Campbell? Let's see. Aaron Parker, I use a fairly heavy gauge 1/0 hook. Yeah, Alex says I rigged my drop shot the way the Jedi showed me. No swivel, no line twist. He's talking about LJ, Lanier Bates. Let's see. Aaron Parker, I got you there. Andy Miller. VMC spin shot is the swivel hook for the drop shot. That's kind of what we used the other night. That's what we were using. Essentially, this is what Atlanta Outdoors is doing with those. The ball and chain is hard for me. I get bored too fast. Me too. In fact, the only time I ever throw a Carolina rig is over on Allatoona in the spring on some flats. That's about the only time. And I use a 4-inch Zoom Lizard, watermelon, red flake. That's what everybody told me to use for Lake Allatoona, and that's all I've ever used. I mean, I have tried to throw a fluke on the back and a Cinco and all that, but the only thing I ever actually caught fish on was a lizard. And I know there's other ways of doing it, but that's what worked for me. All right, this is what he's doing with the swivel on the drop shot. Essentially trying to make something similar to the swivel shot to test out. The hook is in between the lines. The hook spins on the wire. Usually I just use a snail or a Palomar knot with no swivel. I get it. All right, now how about this? Cody Jones. So we told him about going to Rocky Mountain up there in Rome. Man, I went to Rocky Mountain PFA yesterday evening for a couple hours and caught my biggest of the year so far, flipping a missile baits jig and chunky D. It was at minimum 4 pounds and 20 inches long. Thanks for telling me to go there. 100%. It's a good lake. I mean, they're all good. And when it's on, Cody, when it's on, it's like ridiculously on. Tim White and Justin Reynolds, they went up there and had a day for the ages, and I might be off a pound or two. But their best 5 that day was 36, 37 pounds, somewhere right in that area. And that was at Rocky. That's 5 fish. Their best 5 was 35, 36, 37 pounds right in there. I want to say 37 pounds. But regardless, think about that. 5 fish. Dip the lizard tail and dip and go. Chartreuse. I'm assuming you're saying chartreuse right there. But it worked for me a little bit. I didn't catch no big ones, though, doing that. Cody Campbell, been talking to my new college teammates. Figured they'd all be scopers, but at least 40% of them are bank beaters. It's what we all grew up doing and what we got good at. See, but not enough people say that. I believe you. I do like the ball and chain because you have to swing on them to set the hook. You'd have to do that. Okay, Roger Gibson, based upon yesterday's show, he has ordered some Alabama white sauce. So, Roger, once you get that Alabama white sauce, I want you to give us some feedback on it because I've tried it. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's great. It's okay. But compared to other things in the barbecue world and the meat world and all that, I found it to be kind of a little, I mean, you can pepper it up a little bit, but it's kind of bland. And it was white. It was just white. That's different. Yeah, Yeah, Cody, I'm serious. Now, they're very good on that lake. They know that lake very good. I fished against them on that lake before. But that was a day they had. And that was the famous It's in the Dirt episode that we did downstairs. Justin got really, really excited that night. I want to say their last one or two came right there at the boat ramp on East Antioch, like dirt shallow. Dirt shallow. I like that Emil mentioned lighter wire jigs. I use them too. Easier to get a good hook set from the kayak. Yeah, he did. He did. He mentioned a lot of things. You know, the Carolina rig is what caught my attention the most. But yeah, and that's the thing is like a lot of people don't give these young guys credit. They're good across the board at everything. I'm sure they're better at some things than others, but they're good across the board. I mean, you got to be. You don't get to the Bassmaster Elites by being one technique. You don't get to that level. And I hear people say that all the time. Oh, they got there just because they can scope. No, bro, that ain't it. Because think about where all they fish. And think about the lakes that, they didn't like. You heard Emil say lakes he didn't like, It was very, very interesting. Let's see. Colton Posey, size 3, extra wide, KVD mustad drop shot hook, and the Demiki Armor Shad is solid on Smith Lake. And me and Colton figured out what went wrong yesterday. I have to say it was all my fault. I sent him the wrong code. So he's going to come back Tuesday. So next Tuesday we'll start our viewer thing. But we actually were able to make the connection after the show once we figured it out. And then I'll get another one of you guys for Thursday. Let's see. Tyler says lighter wire jigs punch through a bass's mouth better than heavier gauge hook. At least that's what I've heard. I go small, and the reason I go small is because I like throwing that weightless wacky. I think a smaller hook gives it more action, gives it a slower fall. But I also, just from the trout world, I've said it before, if you can pop a 25-inch brown trout or rainbow on a little bitty nymph that I have to take my glasses off and use magnifying glasses to actually tie a knot, that's how small that hook is. If you can pin one of those fish in current in river and get it in and put your hands on it, then I don't see a reason why you can't do a bass that way. And I've had more luck on a wacky worm going smaller. And I have fished with some guys, and I'll look over there at them, and they're throwing a wacky, and they got a 5-aught EWG. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm going to throw a wacky. And don't get me wrong, they catch fish doing it. Not me. That's just not what I like. What's up, Luke Turner? Appreciate you joining us right there, Doc. Let's see. Doc Holiday wants to know, John, are you actually fishing the actual river today? Tyler said, did Emil happen to get pulled over after the show? I think we passed him, pulled over in a parking lot heading towards 515 on Highway 53. I don't know. I haven't talked to Emil this morning. I'll have to hit him up and ask him. I hope not. What's the lightest line you use when bass fishing? If it is really, really tight, really tough on Lanier, I'll go down to 6 pound on my leader, Tatsu. But the majority of the time, 90% of the time, it's 8 pound Tatsu. Kurt Lieler, been killing big spots on the Demiki Armor Shad, 33 to 40 plus foot. Lake Fontana. That's a good bait. That's a really good bait, and I can believe that 100%. Big spots. When you say big spots, Kurt Lieler, what you talking about? We talking 4s and 5s, 6s and 7s. What is a big spot on Lake Fontana? Very curious to know. Let's see here. Tony says, I just want to know which of the elites were not nice to Emil. Literally the nicest guy. 2+ up here. I know Dink City. Okay. No, I mean, no, I didn't know myself. But if you're late, listen, if that's a good spot, that's a good spot. If that's what your lake's producing and 2 spots is good, that's good. I had no idea. I know sometimes guys were like, when we talk about Lake Lanier, we're talking about 4-pounders and 5-pounders. And then every once in a while you get somebody out from California or something like that, and they're talking about, oh, well, we catch 6s and 7s out here. So that's why I asked. I really didn't know. And if that's what it is, nail it. 30+ fish with a mix of some big smallmouth, 3 and 4-pounders. Now, see, that's a day of fishing. That right there is an absolute perfect day of fishing. I'd love to do that on Fontana. Let's see here back on YouTube. Oh, Tony, I will say this. A meal after the show, and I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it on here, but a meal after the show, I looked at him. I said, who was the biggest, you know what, on the elites? And he did give us a name, and I will not drop it. I will not drop it. But there was somebody. Yes, sir. Anytime it's a great lake for bigger limits. Hey, listen, if you're catching fish and you're having fun, that's fantastic. That's all that matters. But he dropped a name. And again, like I said, I am definitely not gonna say it, but we were all like, okay, yeah. Not one that you would think, not one of the big ones. But that's why you guys got to come up here and watch the show live. Get behind the scenes. You get to hear a little bit of those things. Let's see. Gabriel Edwards. Do you know how Norman compares to Lanier? I just moved to North Carolina for school. I will say this. I do not know how it compares other than what people have said. And what people have said to us is that Norman is on the rise. And it is getting to, I won't say Lake Lanier status, but some of the guys up there believe it is. Some of the guys up there think Lake Norman is as good as Lake Lanier. I don't know. I can't tell you. I've never fished it. Most guys are saying it's on its way up as close, but it's not Lake Lanier. But some of them guys, yeah, it's right on there. So you never know. But if you're being mentioned in the same breath as Lake Lanier when it comes to spotted bass, you got to be pretty good. It's got to be a good lake. John, yeah, Doc wanted to know if you're actually fishing the river today or if you're like just off of it in Oxbow or something. You're actually fishing the river. So Cody Jones says, oh, yeah, I caught that big one in maybe a foot of water back in a cut. Seen a ball of shad, and we knew there had to be some bass pushing them back there, and I heard a couple blow up, so I flipped back shallow beside a dock. I'm not sure if it was for DNR, but there was some sort of dock back in this cut I was in. There you go. Hey, they let you know they were there. Motorcycle pit stop, Berkeley finisher, best hard bait for Lanier. Now, what's up, Peg Leg? Appreciate you joining us over on TikTok. I will tell you this. I've heard a lot of conflicting stuff about the Berkeley finisher, but I will drop this piece of juice. I have a gentleman who came in here and bought me out of every Berkeley finisher I had. And I'm like, dude, you actually catching bass on that thing? And he said, no. Okay, Peg Leg, I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Hopefully TikTok won't ban me for it. He is catching some monster, and I mean monster, trout in the rivers throwing that Berkeley finisher. And I'm not talking about 16 inches. I'm talking about big ones. And he's taking them up here in North Georgia and up into Tennessee and all that, and he's just casting them. And he is using that. He came in, and it didn't even matter what color I had. He bought them all. And I was like, I thought, dude, like, that's kind of interesting that you're getting all those. And he goes, let me show you. And he opens up his phone, and he goes, that's a finisher fish. That's a finisher fish. That's a finisher fish. So he figured out some baits designed for bass work for other situations. And I'm telling you, I'm talking like absolutely big browns, big old nasty, cook nose looking browns. You guys, butter, that's what everybody calls them. So, yeah, Berkeley finisher. Now, for Lanier, I'll be quite honest with you. I haven't heard a guy come here in the shop and really brag about Lake Lanier with that bait. I hear them other ones, but not that one. Guys, you remember back, it's been a month or two or three ago, we talked about our buddy Peg Leg over here was going to go fishing with one of his body parts, the toe. Well, he says he'll be using it next week. So he's actually going to make it down to fish with the toe. I want pictures, Peg Leg. I want pictures. I want to see that. If you can video it, even better. What's up, Far Dog? Coleman says, I'm going to Russell Monday to shake a minnow and hopefully break in the new Helix units. Absolutely. Okay, he's going to be live when he does that. Make sure you let us know so that we can let everybody know and everybody can watch you fish with it. Jandon Smith 859. Make a mold of that toe in case it works. Yeah, you need to do that, man. You need to do that. Alex up there, I missed the I didn't get back because the comments are coming in quick. But you asked, did the name that Emil said to us surprise me? No. In fact, it was not nowhere near the ones that I thought it would be. So it took me a second to even remember who the guy was. So it was kind of off the down the list a little bit as far as names. Let's see. What's up, John Allred? I see you right there. I'm trying to catch up on this one right here. Tony says that finisher can be a great supplement during the jig and spoon bite. And that's where I would see it working, Tony. You're absolutely right. That's where I would see it more working. But I'm telling you, I'd catch them better on the finisher than I do the credge. I just think the credge is one of the most overrated baits in the last 5 years. When Kaz was on here, was it Kaz or was it it might have been Driscoll. Let me think. Somebody that was on here said they could do the exact same thing with a flutter spoon, so why buy a credge? Because, the credge is supposed to flutter backwards. Well, that's what a flutter spoon does. And he's like, why? I mean, we've been doing it on a flutter spoon forever. You don't know how to use it then, Danny. Better be in the Monday morning brag board. So we'll see. I just, listen, you like it, but Messick, tell me, what can you do with the Berkeley credge that you can, other than, well, now, hold on a second. There is a little secret of guys around here are doing. Hey, Pontoon Jody, how you doing, hon? A lot of guys are taking the credge as a top water. Now, I don't know if you're talking about down deep, but a lot of guys are running it on top. Really not what it was designed to do, and they're catching fish on top water, kind of wake baiting it across the top. You said it's more about a body roll for you. Okay, listen, hey, you got confidence with it and you like it? Throw it. What's up, Cletus? 176. Dead Rabbit, how you doing, buddy? John G says, I found a new white rooster tail on a log that floated by me, and you thought of me. Ain't it crazy what things will do to make you think of somebody like that? I'm glad that the white rooster tail, you see it floating down the river, and you're like, Danny. Danny would love to see that white rooster tail right now. That's pretty cool if you ask me. Hogan Nash, how you doing, buddy? So, Emil kind of talked a lot about a lot of different things. I was kind of surprised that he did not like Okeechobee. Well, I'm not really surprised because he doesn't think Okeechobee is the fishery that it used to be. And I think a lot of guys are like that. Kind of some of the things that I took from him last night. Here's what I took from him. Okay. Stickman 86. I never thought of throwing a credge like a riser style topwater. Stickman, they do here on Lanier. A lot of guys will throw it on topwater. I don't think down low it's effective as near as much as a flutter spoon. But they do have a lot of guys talk about that. I have not done it. I'm just telling you, I'm just replying, feeding you what guys talk about. And they like it, including, I believe, Emil might have been one of the guys, Emil Wagner, the Bassmaster Elite rookie. He was on last night. One of the great friends of ours here. Not last night, but I think the episode before he talked about the credge as a topwater bait. Now, I might be wrong, but I think it was him. Wilbotron, ever thrown one of those $1 Walmart rooster tails? Yes, I have. Can you catch fish on them? Yes, you can. Are they as good as the original? No, they're not. But can you catch fish on them? Yes. Now, could you buy 5 of those for one rooster tail? Yes, you can. And so it's totally up to you. What's up, traveling fisherman? We've been gone for a week, so good seeing you. You still in Alaska, or where you at now? Let's see. Messick. If y'all see those fish bunched up like they normally do, throw a credge past them and work it to the surface. They'll hit it more like a topwater. Okay. And guys, if I miss your comment, type it again. I don't have Tony or Alex or Tim back there pulling them out there for me. Let's see. Danny, is Peg Leg going to wacky hook his toe or Texas right through the toenail? Peg Leg, if you're still there on TikTok, how are you going to rig your body part? You got 2 weeks left in Alaska. And then where are you headed? Where are you headed like that? So Peg Leg, how are you going to rig that thing up? What's up, Steven Sturgeon? Dead Rabbit and I are from the same area. Okay, cool. I like that. What do you think about the depth Sakamata shad? I will tell you this. We had it the other night. Oh, it's a ZZ Top Secret. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. He says, I don't know. I think I'm going to tie it on the hook. Okay, that's what he's talking about. So the other night, what's up, Dino? Yeah, I'm back for now. So the other night when we did the bait tank thing, we had that Sakamoto on. And if you go to TikTok right now, we kind of put it out there on a TikTok today, and you can see the action. I was impressed with the action. Are there other baits that you can do the same thing with? Probably, because they're a lot easier to get. But I cannot deny that Sakamoto looked wickedly awesome on our jig in our tank. Just doing this, just shaking it. Tons of action. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up here. The Credge overshadowed the finisher on the release. In my opinion, the finisher is the better bait. I actually can believe that. Dead Rabbit says, yes, absolutely. I throw those cheapo Walmart inlines. They're cheap, snag a lot of fish, fishing for whites. Snag a lot fishing for whites. Yeah, so seriously. Sometimes that's worth it. Now, listen, there's some very expensive topwater baits out there. And then there's some old school baits that do the exact same thing. Guys will come in and they'll ask me, would you buy this one over this one? And I'll tell them this. I'm like, they both catch fish. I'm cheap. If I could buy 4 of those baits for one of those and do pretty much the same thing, I'm buying the 4. I'm buying the 4. That's just me. But I know some guys that will come in and they're going to buy the expensive one because they don't want to mess with the cheaper one. I'm kind of backwards, but I've used many a cheap Walmart rooster tail. Was watching 4 to 5 pounders on dock lights last night. I don't doubt it. It's getting about that time where the dock lights are going to start kicking back up. The white rooster tail works well for channel cats. Okay, that's something I didn't think about. They definitely hit them for sure. Now, Alex says when we had the Sakamoto on, later on in the show, we put a 7.2 cast echo. Again, wrong size jig head, but Phil did. He did hook that one good enough to get the movement. And I actually was really impressed. Really impressed with that cast bait, which is funny. I had a guy on TikTok in the comment section goes, that's not the way you're supposed to work either one of them. I'm like, well, dude, it's a 3x2 fish tank. What do you want us to do with it? We're just showing guys the action. Some people cannot help themselves. They got to make a comment. That's not the right way. Well, of course it's not. I'm sitting in the shop on a podcast. I got a line hooked to it. I got a guy jiggling it with his thumb up above it. We can't make it real world conditions. You know who else gets on my nerves? I'm just going to say this every time. You guys have seen them TikToks where they're comparing one person to another. They'll say, okay, who was the better guitarist, Eddie Van Halen or Stevie Ray Vaughan? Okay. And then you get in the comments and guys are going, Eddie Van Halen, Stevie Ray Vaughan go. And you get that one guy goes, Randy Rhoads. The question was, who was the better guitarist, Eddie Van Halen or Stevie Ray Vaughan? And you always get that guy, Randy Rhoads. That's not the question, dude. Nobody cares who you like the best. The question was, who's better between them two? That guy on TikTok, on Twitter, X, what do you want to call it, all that. That's the guy that always like, man, just follow the instructions of the video. Nobody wants your personal opinion on something else. They want to know the answer of that question. Let's see. Listen, neither Wilbotron, neither. Let's see. Andy Miller. Are you standing by that Spro minnow, or is there anything? Are you standing by that Spro minnow, or is there anything else better? Spro minnow. Which one are you talking about? I think going against the standard way technique of a bait has caught me more fish. I agree with that, Stick Man. Sometimes you just got to do something different. You'll find something. Now, yeah. What do you say? What do you mean the Spro minnow? Which one are we talking about? Let me know, Gabe, and I'll tell you, because it's Friday and I've experienced a lot of stuff going on in my brain this week. And right now I'm having a little bit of a meltdown as to I don't even know what the heck you're talking about. Dimebag Daryl is another. He's good. Yeah. The Judy fish. Oh, Gabe. Okay. Tony said he's talking about the Judy fish. I didn't have a Judy fish. I wish I had one the other night, and I have not thrown it. But I will just tell you this. It's wicked looking. It might be one of those baits. And again, I'm a Spro guy. All I can tell you is just based upon looks and what I've seen, it is wicked looking. And I we need to get one and redo the tank with one of those. So yeah. If you just said the Judy fish, I'd have known it, but you said minnow, and I was sitting there like thinking, okay, what bait by Spro's called the minnow? So that's why I was having the old kind of brain. I think so. Let's see. An example: I drag a hula grub on a spot remover head and kill pressured river smallmouth on them. Catches a lot of fish on that. I can see that. I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Not the way we would fish it here in Georgia, but I could see it there working on smallmouth in the river. Absolutely. Do I know anywhere the trout are still biting good? The last reports I've gotten is you got to be below Buford Dam or you got to be below Lake Blue Ridge. Those are the places that the trout are biting unless you get some private water. But public water, that's all I've heard. And I can't tell you a specific spot. You have a blessed weekend too, Peg Leg. I can't give you a specific spot. But I do know that that's the two places when guys are coming in here that they're talking about. The trout were biting great yesterday in Alaska. I bet they were. I bet they were. I like throwing a tiny torpedo on a BFS more than a plopper on my regular bait caster. Man, I like them little tiny torpedoes. They absolutely will rake on a farm pond. He was probably the descent into mediocrity guy. Seriously, but that's the thing. Who's a better podcaster, me or Randy? Well, Randy don't do a podcast, so we'll have to give me on that one, but only because he doesn't do one. I guarantee you more people would watch him than watch me. I don't know. I mean, he's a car wreck. That's what it is. Dimebag Daryl is another one. And listen, and that's but they do that. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, do you like throwing? It'd be like, do you like mono or fluoro better? That's the simple question. Mono or fluoro? Go down in the comments. Mono, fluoro, mono, fluoro, fluoro. Braid. And I'm like, that's the guy on social media that I just want to go, dude, stay within the thing. Nobody cares about braid. It wasn't even supposed to be in the question. Just answer the question. I don't have a lot of things that get on my nerves. I'm really kind of, well, this version of me is really kind of laid back. Used to not be, but this version of me is kind of laid back. I can kind of listen and agree with a little bit of everything. Even if I don't like it, I'm okay. But that right there just crawls. It chaps me. Like, and I don't know why, and I shouldn't let it stick, man. I'm the same way. That drives me crazy. I don't know why. It's an insignificant thing. You could say something that's a total falsehood. And I know it's a total falsehood on social media, and it would not bother me as much as that guy in the comment section that has to throw his thing in when it's not part of the question. You got two choices. Answer the question. This is not your thing. Answer the question. And I don't know why. Like, I could fuss about that for 5 hours this morning. Don't want to, but I could. Danny, idea for the Real American Road Trip. Fishing a Highland Reservoir in far southeast Oklahoma and Caddo Lake with cranking and yanking. We're only 3 hours apart. Dude, you guys go follow Cranking and Yanking on YouTube. He even gave us a little shout out in his last video. But that Caddo Lake or Cato or however you say it, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Absolutely one of the prettiest bodies of water for bass fishing that I have ever seen. Now, Cranking and Yanking being in the center of the video kind of messed up the view a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. But it really was. That was absolutely wicked looking. But, yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. And I'd like to hang out with old Cranking and Yanking. I'm going to buy him some new shoes, though. He's got those white old man New Balance grass cutting shoes on. That's what he was fishing with. And I can't really say nothing. I've had the Nike version of those, and they're actually probably the most comfortable shoes I've ever owned. And I probably need to get another pair. Let's see. What's the bigger baits like the rooster tail, but bigger spinner blades? Yeah. I mean, I've thrown muskie size. I bought a muskie rooster tail and went over to Latham with it. And when I say a muskie rooster tail, I'm talking about like yo. I mean, it was a good 5 or 6 inches, if not a little bit longer. Had half a chicken on the back for feathers. I caught a few over there on Latham doing it. Really burns my biscuits. If I missed one of your comments up there, you guys throw it back out there. Danny, let's see. I haven't been a huge topwater fisherman, which will be crazy to some people. It's not that I don't like topwater. We all love topwater. I just usually always flip or pitch. I do like a buzz bait, though. I want to get into throwing a spook style bait or walking bait, especially this time of year. When it comes to line, do you prefer braid or mono? If so, how heavy do you go, and what's your go-to rod? Now, everybody in the comment section, you guys can throw out your opinion on that one right there. Atlanta Outdoors, I bet they wrote in answers to multiple choice questions in school. That's what I'm saying, dude. So I'm a little bit different. I'm kind of cheap when it comes to topwater. I throw big game. Tony says fluoro like that, but I throw big game. I've never had a problem. Big game, you can pull a truck. I like 20-pound big game on walking baits. Coleman said, "Oh, Tony says joking, mono." Okay, Tony, when you said that, I was kind of like, for a second, I'm like, I don't think Tony likes that, but okay, you were messing with me. It's like asking what suspension Jeep guys like. Then one goes, "How many rubber ducks y'all got?" 100% stick, man. That's exactly what it is. Mono 15 to 17. I throw it on I got a new rod from Spro, and I can't exactly remember the actual number. I'll have to get it for you. But I got a new Spro rod, and I like it. It's oh man, which one is it? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Stickman, you're a fluoro guy for your topwater? That's kind of interesting. I know a lot of guys will throw the braid. Oh, Tony, that's why. Tony got me. Tony got me right there. It's because I wasn't on Twitter, man, because he gave two options, and Tony said fluoro laughing. Okay, I was like, I got you. I got you now. See, it's Friday, dude. It is Friday, but that's funny. Now that you said that, you got me. Absolutely. A lot of guys. So anyway, fluoro is not anybody's choice. A lot of people say mono. If I'm throwing a frog, I'll run braid. A lot of guys will on a frog. I know Ryan on his horny toad, he throws straight braid. I know some of the guys throwing big top water, they'll throw braid. Some guys throw buzz baits, they'll throw braid. I know some guys that throw spinner baits, they'll throw braid. But I like, just for me, I can make a bomb cast with big game, and it is cheap. So I am a little different, though, than Will Harkins of the NPFL. He likes that clear big game. I use the green. I haven't noticed a difference. Let's see. But that was funny, Tony. You got me. You really got me on that one. I like throwing 12-pound fluoro on my crankbaits. Hope that answers the topwater question, Coleman says. So he's doing the same thing. All right, now you guys, I'm following. I'm tracking. Ain't that what the cool kids say? You tracking? You tracking? I throw the SB 105, not really a walking bait, but I use 12-pound Suffix mono. On poppers and pencil poppers, I actually like fluoro, Atlanta Outdoors said. Okay. Weights the nose and gets a bigger plop. Big game has caught a lot of people, a lot of fish. What line on a 4-ounce glide bait? Buddy Justin, I don't throw that. A couple of you guys over here on YouTube, I know you throw these big glide baits. A 4-ounce glide bait, what you throwing it on? What are you guys throwing a 4-ounce glide bait on? With me, Jan said heavy fluoro. I don't even throw one that heavy, so I'd have to. I'm gonna have to let somebody else. And I'm glad Jan didn't put an answer out there. Messick says 20-pound. Is that braid or fluoro, or braid fluoro mono? Messick. I'm just curious. It's probably Paracord 550. Says Coleman. Absolutely. Braid on the Z-Man goat toad. Steven Sturgeon says 20 to 25-pound fluoro is what Jandon throws his on. 25-pound trick fish on glides, and that's from Mike Buka, not me. That's right. Got the boss from Clutch. Need opinions. So he's got the boss from Clutch, 4-ounce. John Aldred, who I know probably throws as many big glides as anybody that I know, and especially Buka brand stuff. He throws 20-pound mono on his glide baits up to 4 ounces. And he knows that very, very well. I would trust anything that John said. Good luck with that, Justin. Let us know how you do with that thing. I personally use 18 to 20, so it's not as stiff. Okay. That makes sense. I just don't do that. Throw them thing. They also have a Bigfoot known as the Caddo or Caddy, whatever, lake monster. Now tell me a Bigfoot couldn't live on that lake. No, that did look kind of, you probably could. Big Bass Bash, $100,000. Oh, you fishing that Big Bass Bash. One fish, let's hope. You know what? How about this? You just led into a very good question. You're trying to win a big bass. You got one bait to catch the biggest fish, one artificial bait to catch the biggest bass in a lake. What bait are you throwing? Because he's doing that boss from Clutch. It did look squatchy. You guys got to go check out Cranking and Yanking's thing. That's the one where he says, I like to call this this technique all skill, no scope. That's what he said. He goes, he's holding up a big one. It's a decent one, bigger than the ones that he caught up to that point of the video. He's like, I like to call this all skill, no scope. And knowing Cranking and Yanking the way we do in the comment section, I'm like, yeah, I could see him doing that. But that lake looked, it was cypress trees in water. I mean, just tons and tons and tons. And he said we really needed to go down there and fish it. He really did. But in the video, he goes, I've been watching a lot of FNGO's podcasts. And he said a couple of things. He goes, they like to call me the grumpy man from Louisiana. And in the comment section, I went like, you are grumpy, dude. But we love you. You are grumpy. But no, absolutely. That lake looked amazing. Now, if your lake up there looked half as good as his lake did, we'd have a good time. Now, Coleman says, depending on the lake, a frog. Take your favorite. Okay, how about this? Just take your favorite lake. You get one bait, and you're not going to catch numbers. You might go 100 days in a row without a bite, but the 101, you're going to catch that big fish. Is that what you're throwing? Alex says a wacky. That's what I would throw. I go say, listen, I've seen fish, some of the biggest bass I've ever seen with my eyeballs got caught on like the old school beetle spins. Like seriously. If I have wind, spinnerbait all day, Jandon said. Maybe all of us folks that use Scope can go show him some love. And I mean that with all due respect because he's a great viewer. 100%. That's what I'm saying. You guys go. When this is over, get on YouTube, type in Cranking and Yanking. And actually, I want one of his shirts because he's got a shirt that's got his logo. It says Cranking and Yanking across it. I actually think it's a pretty good looking shirt. I like fishing water like he's fishing. It's honest. Now, big bait, Jeremiah says a 9-inch trick shad or a depth's 250. Atlanta Outdoors says an A-rig. Somebody, okay, speaking of Cranking and Yanking, I think it was him in the comment section last night. He looked at a meal, or he had a question for a meal, and he goes, if Bassmaster, whatever, would allow the A-rig, would you throw it? And I read that question off, and Emil didn't even hesitate. He goes, absolutely. He did. Absolutely. Which is funny because, a lot of guys are like, nah, Emil, yeah, I'd throw it 100%. Now, he did say something like, it doesn't have the appeal that it did a few years ago, or maybe even the draw. And he mentioned this with a lot of baits. In certain situations, some of your old school baits, some of them things, absolutely, you can still use, and he does. Now you know why I love a flipping stick. That's what we do in Louisiana. Okay, that makes sense. A-rig is undefeated in winter. Now, depending on your lake. Now, I think more guys will catch fish on lanier, and I could be wrong, but just in talking with them, just take the typical ditch bite. They're going to catch the bigger fish if they get in the right ditch on just underspin and a single underspin, and we make that little ditch digger, half-ounce football head jig and dragging it. Some big fish get caught with that. And the A-rig, nobody talks about it anymore around here. That's not to say guys don't throw it. What I'm saying is nobody talks about it, and they could still be throwing it. Let's see. A-rig is still good on Gunnersville. Yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is. I saw Dave. He was waxing them on the on that A-rig. Now, Jandon, are you telling me when you say good, LOL, that means you're going to be throwing the A-rig or that nobody's talking about it? That might be what you're responding to, and you could be 100% right. Simple black and blue jig is hard to beat, though. My biggest spot and largemouth on Lanier came off an A-rig last winter. So Atlanta Outdoors is throwing them. That's funny. What size Z2 seems to be the most popular? I just bought some 3-inch for fall, but they are tiny. I'm used to tiny things, but this is making me uncomfortable. Just listen, I don't know, but I can just tell you a lot of guys really do downsize in the fall. Really do down. And that's why the rooster tail talk has been coming on here lately. And because just take Latham over there. Guys are still throwing, that cast OG is a great bait. A Zara spook, great bait. The fish go blowing up on Latham. Guys are throwing it, bringing it right through the school, and they're not getting hit. And they're like, I don't understand. I'm right there. I'm like, do the same thing with the white rooster tail. Oh, you hook up? That's because they're keying in on small bait. I throw them from fall till spring. Yeah, I'm telling you. And you know what? It's just not cool. Guys don't want to have a rooster tail tied on when they're at a bass tournament or something like that. Guys walking, most guys hide what they're fishing with, but the guys that got the rods out there, you don't see white rooster tails. I'm just telling you, you got to have one that's heavy enough, though, that you can bomb it. But spotted bass and even some largemouth, but spotted bass, and you really can throw it all year long. But in the fall, I could show you on Latham. I could actually just show it to you. It'd be easier. Like you're going to look at it and you got no way. You can actually, here's the thing. If you fish Latham and you want to just prove me wrong, it'll probably prove myself right. Some of you kayak guys that got the motors, take a white rooster tail and just chunk it off the back. Chunk it off the back of your kayak or your electric rig, whatever. Put your trolling motor or your motor on 1 or 2 and just slow troll across the big water at Latham. I promise you that rod's going to go wham. You absolutely will see it. Wham. Sometimes I get bored and we'll go out there in the afternoons when I have my privileges and we'll just do that. And it's fun. Black and yellow rooster tails do pretty good here. Absolutely. Where is here, Stickman? You may have told me already, but say it again. Where is here? Let's see. I put the good baits in my rod locker and put decoy baits on my deck at tournaments. Southwest Virginia. Okay. Man, I appreciate you talking with us today. That's awesome. Coleman, listen. You know what I like the guys that lay it right on the deck, and that's what they're going to fish with, and they're going to absolutely wax your butt with it. They don't care. The A-rig is deadly when they're schooling on shad in open water. Yeah, well, absolutely. No, I can see that. And a lot of guys, like we're talking today, are like A-rig in the wintertime. I know a couple of guys right here that will chunk it out, and they'll fish it in the summer. Absolutely. What they do in the summertime, though, they let it go all the way to the bottom. When it gets to the bottom, they give it a pop, and then they'll slow roll it. Now, one particular gentleman that I know does this. He doesn't do it as much anymore, but that's how he actually taught me to throw an A-rig. I caught my first A-rig fish with this guy. He'll tell you he don't catch as many as he used to on it, but that's how he did it. And I was like, really? It's almost like ticking rocks, like you would with, an underspin or something. But this was in the middle of summer. He's catching fish. Let's see. Cody says, you mentioned you're cheap when it comes to line. Are you that way with reels too? Just curious because I'm not someone who really can spend hundreds of dollars on one reel. I have been a Lose guy recently. They have a couple lower cost reels I've been looking at. Yes and no. If we're being honest, I can get reels at wholesale because I'm a tackle shop. So I don't pay. And that's not, I'm just being honest. I don't pay as much as a lot of you guys have to pay. Is what it is. I don't spend it. So I can get, I will tell you this, a lot of reels get marked up a lot. There's a lot of markup in reels and rods. I am fortunate enough that I have some Spro stuff that I did not have to purchase. Some like really good stuff. So that's just being honest. So but if I'm being honest, I've got a Abu Garcia that I bought at Walmart, a spinning reel that I bought at Walmart about 5 or 6 years ago. It's red. I forget the model, but it's one of the cheaper ones. I still use that to this day. I've got my cast braid on that one. That's the reel that I've got my cast braid on. Oh, and absolutely. I love that reel, and it probably costs $59.99. Have you used Spro's Jason Christie reel? Yeah, I got 3 of them. That's what I'm talking about. Those things are legit. I've been wanting to try Cast King stuff. Seems decent for the price. Yeah, they got some good stuff. But I've got 3 of the I've got no. Let me just say so. I've got 3 of the Christie reels, the bait casters, and I've got 2 of his spinning reels. Love it. Love them. They ain't for everybody, but for me, I love them. Rob says, I don't even know how to fish anymore. Yeah, you do. Half-ounce rooster tail for fall spotted bass all the way if you want to catch up to 100-plus fish. Yeah, see? Absolutely. A-rig is hard to use from the bank, but I can catch tanks on it. I can see that, Jeremiah. Tony said, if anybody's cheating off me in a tournament, they're backing up. I get that. Tony says, I buy Daiwa CC80s and CR80s, $59.79. Great starter reels that will last the average guy a while. I actually have that reel. Still use it. It's a great reel. Fantastic reel. What bait caster reel has the highest drag? Ooh, I don't know. Steven says, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. The highest drag. Now, are we got to be talking like bass fishing, right? Because I mean, I imagine you can get some of them Abu Garcias made for catfishing and stuff that probably got a real big drag. So I don't know. WD-40, the spool line. Which one, Dozer? What are we doing? A Lew's Super Duty 300? That's what Jan and Smith said. Maybe a Lew's Super Duty 300. It's got to be something like that. I'm a Shimano supremacist. That sounds wrong. Yes, it does. Listen, if you like what you like, 100%. Spro Vortex E-Reels were massively discounted on Tackle Warehouse yesterday. Yep, because I think they're getting ready to come out with another model. If I broke off my super saltwater spook, I'd throw a 8-inch Megabass Mag Draft. A lot of guys, even in the comment section, throw that for sure. Probably the Revo winch, and I've got a Revo winch. Coleman, I do. I've got one of those. But I don't know how heavy the drag is. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't know I should. I mean, I run a fishing podcast. You'd think I would pay attention to those details, and I don't, which is why I think you guys like me, because I'm a regular guy like you. I just don't really care. Does it cast, and can I reel a fish in? That's all I need to know. Let's see. The Lew's Hank Parker rod from Walmart is $40 is fire. I have 4 of them. Listen, absolutely. And Jeremiah, old dirty cracker, wants to know where you're bank fishing at. Now, y'all remember them Berkeley, was it cherry stick, something like that? I want to say that's the name of the model that used to buy fairly cheap at Walmart. Cherry wood. There you go. There've been a bunch of bass caught on those things. In fact, my son had one, and it's now sitting in my house. Berkeley Lightning Rods, Gatlin says. You know, I will tell you this. NRX, everybody loves it. Back in the day, I traded a guy in NRX for 2 of the FX titaniums because I like the FX titanium better. Half the price. Good afternoon, Atlanta Safe House. How you doing, buddy? Glad you could join us. Let's see. Revo Beast has a 30-pound drag. 25 pounds. The drag is 25 pounds. What was that on Coleman again? When I'm pulling a bass, let's see, 13 fishing reels used to have some of the highest rated drags. When I am pulling bass out of pads, I hate reeling and nothing happens. That makes sense where you're fishing, for sure. Jordan Lee reels are buy one, get 2 free right now. Really? That's interesting. Is that on Tackle Warehouse? My favorite reel so far is my Lew's Mach 2 speed spool. I think it's over $100, but it's awesome. And then, yeah, Houston over there says cherrywood. Them cherrywoods, listen, a lot of fish have been caught on those. If you can, as long as you can feel you can. And I think using, like, even on spinning rods, if you put some braid on it, it's even better. Chris Knoll, tell me I'm not alone. All my reels have to be the same. If they feel different, I lose my mind. How many of you guys, because this is Chris on TikTok, how many of you guys over here, either on TikTok or on YouTube, like, you got the same reel all the way down? I will say now that I'm throwing the Jason Christie reels, all 3 of those are the same because they have 4 different reels, and I got 3 of them. and I like them. But I still have my Daiwa. I still have the winch from Abu Garcia that I crank with. But I do got a crank, and I got the Jason Christie one on the rock crawler rod. Jeremy Gilroy says he's got variety. Oh yeah, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to have to fix my thing. Man for the money, Johnny Morris aren't bad. I still use my first bait caster reel from 2008. That's why I want to try the JC Spros. They're awesome. I will tell you this. All right, now I got to the live. I got to fix this. I ain't done this in a while with those lives. I ain't been on in a week. So as soon as it quits spinning, I am going to fix it. Let's see here. Pop back up. Come on, buddy. Coleman Jones, I buy whatever reel is on sale on Facebook Marketplace. Oh, come on now. No, you don't. Cherry wood medium is fine for moving baits in top water. I have 2 cherry woods on my deck, says Clayton Belmont. They catch fish, guys. There is no doubt about it. I don't know what is up with my TikTok thing. I'm not even getting no, I don't want to disconnect. Cancel that. We'll see what happens. You TikTok guys, you might have to come back here in a second. Somebody called me and it jacked it up and it says my live's going to end in 3 minutes. And normally I just hit these little buttons, but I think because a phone call came in during it, it's really messing up my thing. So I seen Jordan Lee Real Deal, but was skeptical as to why there was such a good deal. The reviews on it were not great, so I wasn't sure if I should invest in them. I be honest with you, I don't know that I would. I don't particularly like those reels. I don't want to knock anybody that's got it. I just didn't like it. We actually had a couple of those in the store a while back, and I got out there and played with it, and it wasn't for me. So anyway, nope, we're just going to see what happens with the TikTok. You guys on TikTok, I might have to start this thing over again because that phone call that come through messed up my little control thing, and it's not giving me the option to resume the live. So if it does knock you guys off, I'll start another one immediately. You guys come back. Let's see. Hot take. I was on a boat full of G Loomis recently with $500 reels on them. I could care less. I got all different kinds of reels and rods. Some guys like it. Some guys like to have all that. I find it very interesting that fella did. I'm not like that. For moving baits in topwater, a cheap rod works fine. Those ugly stick carbons are actually more sensitive than I expected. Let me tell you what I did. I had an ugly stick one time. Now, we were having a party at my house, and this was a graphite rod that Ugly Stick put out. Okay? And my wife, just being funny, grabbed it, and she said, I'm just going to break this rod. And I kind of like, oh, it's an Ugly Stick. You ain't going to break it. Thinking that, she wasn't going to, actually do it. But because it wasn't like the catfish Ugly Sticks that you can bend and not break, it really was a graphite rod. So right there in front of about 20 people, she goes, I'll show you, just joking around. And she went to bend it, and that rod went, pow! And she had to look. I mean, you should have seen the look on her face. It was so funny because I looked at her like, and I'm not even going to describe it because I will get in trouble. But she knew she had messed up. Everybody else thought it was pretty funny. But she goes, well, you said it was an Ugly Stick. And I was like, baby, you can't do that. TikTok guys, it's not going to let me do it. I'm going to end your live and start another one. So I apologize, but you guys are going to have to come back. So I'm going to cancel it right now and start another one. Yep. Here we go. All right. Well, it might. No, I might have that right thing now. I'm getting a circle of death on it. But anyway, it might let me do it. Hold on a second, guys. I'm sorry about this. I ain't done this in a week. And it is a Friday. Nope, got to start another one. You guys come see me. All right, there we go. All right, now we're back. Resume it. There we go. All right, work. Sorry, guys. You know how this is. This is a live show. We do it like it is what it is. Jordan Lee's contract ended, so they're redesigning the line of rod and reels. There you go. Now it makes sense. One company I don't hear much about is Halo Rods, but I have their 7.4 spinning rod medium, and it's an insane fluke rod. And John just caught his second big swim bait largemouth on a 6 cent draw. 17 inches, not even 5 minutes ago. What's up, 706? I've been a Shimano and Daiwa fan for years, and now I'm really enjoying the Lew's Custom Pros. I got 2 Lew's tournament edition spinning rods. I like them. Let's see. She is lucky that carbon stick didn't catch her under the chin and make her, seriously. So you know the rod I'm talking about. It was like, and she just blessed her heart. It was what it was at that point. So now that I got a bunch of you guys on there, like any of you guys really fishing tomorrow? Are any of you going to fish tomorrow, Sunday, Monday? You got plans to actually get out on some of these lakes? We kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday. And a lot of guys said no. They're not even going to bother going out. I know Alex is going out tonight on dock lights. He's going to go hit the dock lights, which will probably be very smart. Tony says, I'm not hating on folks that want these setups by any means. It's just not my cup of tea until I hit the lottery. No doubt. I am very rough on rods, reels, trucks, you name it. I'm rough on things. I just have to admit, I don't take care of things the way I should take care of them. And so it does not do me any good to have, until I change my ways, an uber expensive setup that somebody didn't give to me. I step on them. I break rods. I'm not responsible. I'm just not responsible enough. I love my Douglas rods. Sold off all my casting rods for them. Trey Crenshaw's going to Latham in the morning. Jack Butler. Jack Butler was that guitar player in Crossroads that Stevie Vai played. Did you know that? I believe he was like the Devil's guitarist. I believe that was his name, Jack Butler. I don't know how many guys seen that movie. Ralph Macchio. But I believe old Jack Butler was the Devil's guitarist. I'm going to be out, but I can only bank fish. Still don't have a kayak or a boat yet. Keep on. You'll get it. I'm friends with John Cruz, and he mentioned maybe trying out the new Fashion Element rods they just came out with. He said they are a great rod for the price. They run about $130. Yeah, go for it. Let us know how you like it. Aldridge is taking the plopper to Gunnersville with a working GoPro, hopefully. Yeah, I'd like to see the footage of it. And Tony, same way with me. Yeah, we're just rough on things. All of my reels are arc with the exception of my 2 swim bait. And you said serious setups. Okay, setups right there. I'm fighting after dark. I understand that. Bring back Powell mistake rods, 3 for $100 for sure. It was a good movie, wasn't it? Travel Fisherman. You remember? Wasn't the guitarist named Jack Butler? Old Jack. Remember they had that duel right there at the end. Do you ever maintenance your reels? Steven Sturgeon. I am going to get in so much trouble. 706 says my Powell Endurance are awesome. I've heard some good stuff about that. If I'm thinking the same thing you are, I'm going to get in so much trouble, Steven. No, I don't maintenance anything. I'll be honest with you. I've tried to do some maintenance on a few of my reels back in the day, and I always lost a screw and never put them back together right, and they ended up getting thrown away. I just go buy another one. I know that is wasteful. I know that is wrong. I know that is not what you should do. But I do not maintenance anything. I just seem to mess them up every time I try to maintenance something. I do. I don't know why. But again, hey, listen though. I don't fish. I'm here. I'm at the shop. I'm here. I don't get to fish as much as you guys. So maybe mine don't need as much maintenance. Maybe that's the ticket. They still cast right. But when they get to where they got a tick in them or something, I just go get another reel because I don't buy $400 or $500 reels. So maybe that's just it. And I got a bunch of reels. I got a ton of them, and I got a lot of backups. How about that? Jeremiah says I got a Metanium and a Steez to compare, and honestly, the Steez is head and shoulders better. Okay, the Steez, I've thrown the Steez before. For the money, I know I'm supposed to say, oh yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, it's not that great. No, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's not like such a huge difference unless you're just a real aficionado and like the guy that drinks wine that can smell wine and say, well, this was grown in France and the dirt was acidic and all that. To the average guy, which I am, I was like, I didn't think it was worth the money. Just me. Just me. Good budget rod for sensitivity for bottom baits. Well, anything graphite. I mean, budget rod, when we say budget rod, we talking $100 or less? I like my Titanium B over my Titanium DC. I can see that. Alex says, yes, Stephen, I take care of all my gear. Tony says, yes, that's the key. I don't. I know all these guys are like $150 or less. What's the best $150 or less rod sensitivity? Dave says the Falcon Buku, Bucoo. Now, Dave loves Falcon rods, and I know a lot of guys that love Falcon rods. Assassin King, starting a new job tomorrow. When I get paid, I'm buying a new bait caster, but what should I use? Regular line, braided line, or should I use clear braided line if it exists? Clear braided line you're not going to find. My job is working at Hillcrest Apple House in Gilmore County. Arc rods, Mason Randall says. Arc does have some good ones. The Invoker series is right around 150, 159. That's a good rod. Let's see, I'm reading that. Steve Vai played all the parts of the ending battle except the slide part and sang guitars. Yes, he was. Absolutely was. One of my favorites. I would just put regular line on until you get used to the reel and then go do something. A Duckett Triad, a Daiwa ARD X for $50 is excellent for the money. Go get you one of them cherrywood ones at Walmart. They actually feel pretty good. A lowrider is a Falcon lowrider for $139. That's not bad. That's not bad. If you go to Country Sportsman in Rome, and I know you might not be nowhere near this place. FX has their extreme anglers. Normally it's like 180 something, but I think if you go to Country Sportsman in Rome, they sell them for $140. That's as good as a $140 rod as you're going to find out there. 706 Fishing. I love Country Sportsman. Shout out to them. You can buy them there. I believe they used to be $139.99 there. And I still have some FXs. I don't really like the longer ones, but the 7.4 spinning FX is my favorite rod of all the rods I've ever thrown. And I still have like a 7.1, 7.2 that I could use on my bait for like jigs and stuff. Dobbins Fury is under $150, Ralph Young says. Dobbins is that's a good one. Let's see. I will take my Lew's workhorses. Oh, Walton Doyle out there. There you go, Walton. How's life treating you there, buddy? You can find some killer deals at Ollie's if you have one near you. Occasionally, there's one in Canton, and I'll go in there. My wife wants to go in there for some reason, for whatever it is. And I there's two sections I hit in that every single time. I go to the book section because I like to read. But I always go to the sports section and see if they got anything. Like you might can find a mega bass for like $10 at the right day. Danny, what happened to the guy that used to always be on the podcast that had a house on Gunnersville Lake? You went fishing with him. He is about, 6 or 7 comments up above you. It's Dave. That's Dave Aldridge in the comment section right there. He's just been very busy at work. Work has got him busy, and he's been spending a lot of time out at Gunnersville. So that's him. But that's Dave Aldridge. He's right there above you. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 comments right there above you. He was on just 3 episodes ago, 3 or 4. Watch some YouTubes on learning how to cast a bait caster, Assassin King, 100%. Absolutely. Work is killing me, Dave says, 100%. Me too, dude. Me too. Like, if I knew there wasn't some people coming, I would actually shag out of here right after this is over with. But I got some people coming up here, so I've got to stay. Shimano 6 for $100 is a good rod. $200 for the combo if you want the reel too. That's okay. You guys throwing out some good ones. Quick story: last week I fished off the dam on Blue Ridge Lake, and I got no bait. When I got back to my truck, my dad said we can't keep fishing like this. Oh, you have no boat. When I got back, my dad said we got to get a boat. Good for you, dude. You need to get a boat. It'd be easier to fish that lake. It'd be easier to fish a lot of lakes. There are some lakes that got good bank access. Some places will put out brush for you, make fish attractors where, guys from the bank can reach them. They do that. But like Tyler says, a boat makes a huge difference. But you know what? It's always that funny saying. Jack Tibbins is on his way to the lake. Where you going, Jack? If you're on the bank, you spend all your time casting as far out as you can. But most guys, when they're in a boat, they turn around and cast towards the bank. This old guy used to say this all the time. Up in CT, Connecticut? Is that where you're at? I hope that's CT. That's what you're talking about. Listen, I'm from Georgia. I'm simple. I don't know all the abbreviations, but CT, I think you're saying Connecticut. But I had an old man, he used to say that all the time. You don't need a boat. You're going to be sitting there throwing at what you're standing by. I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it. Yes, sir. Buddy, let us know, Jack, because we'll be back. We're going to be back now that we're back on TikTok. Monday, we'll be back here at 12. Tuesday. Monday's Labor Day. I'm not working Monday. Tuesday, we'll be back at 12. And let me know if you don't, from 12 o'clock to whatever we decide to stop, let me know how it went. I'd be very curious because you guys have to have some really nice, cool weather up there right now because I know it feels fantastic here in Georgia. It's got to feel good in Connecticut. Yeah, everybody needs to enjoy the long weekend. So Far Dog. So Dave, Far Dog's been missing you, dude. Smallmouth and walleye for me tomorrow. I might go to Latham this weekend. My wife's up in Virginia, and there's a lot of honeydew things I need to do, and I won't have her over my back telling me, Jim, I can work at my own pace and do the things. But I might I might rebuild a porch. I've got a side porch that needs to be rebuilt. I might do that just so with brownie points, guys. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but people in a boat are not trespassing in people's yards. That's true, Atlanta Outdoors. Okay, yeah, you're right there. You're right there. Bank fish where you're allowed to bank fish. Bank fish where you're allowed to bank fish. That's like, well, like a lot of people ask me about Latham over here. The bank fishing area over here at Latham's terrible. Y'all don't get. Is it the opening day of dove season in South Carolina tomorrow? Because I think it's. Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the opening day in Georgia on the 6th, same day as Ryan's? I think that's what it is. Yak is my go-to. Okay, you're a kayaker. So then you could tell us, you'll call back and say, I caught 92 inches. And I'll look at you and I'm going to go, well, what is that? How many pounds is that? I always say that. But good for you, man. Get out there on the water. Dave's just been busy at work, man. I'm telling you, that's what he is. After experiencing all three, I say smallies are the best fighter. That's a tough one. Because I've caught them all too. Depending on the size and all that. I don't know. You'd have to put the spot and the smallmouth right there together. Smallmouth then spots, Jack said. Now, again, I haven't caught big smallmouth. I've caught some smallmouth. Monday for private, next Saturday is public. Okay, I got you. Let's take the yaks out, Danny. Alex, what day you want to take the yaks out over there at Latham? We'll do it. Don't leave out a shoal bass for the fight, too. Now, yeah, again, that's true. That's another one, Dino. Understand. You can't leave them out. I don't know. I've only caught smallmouth fly fishing. That, you know what? That would be fun. I've been looking at some bait casters for a while, and I seen an awesome blue and white real tree bait caster, and it's awesome. Seen it at Walmart, and dude, it had the most comfortable grip, $75. If it feels good, grab it, assassin. Throw it. Throw it. You can't catch fish if you ain't throwing it, right? Got to find something that feels good in your hand. So I agree with you on that. If you liked it, throw it. But yeah, Alex, we can go out. I might do the yak thing again. I've been doing my push-ups, man, and all this and stretching, trying to get back in shape. So maybe this time it won't hurt. And maybe I've lost enough weight that daggum life jacket vest thing might fit me. Guys, I gained too much weight and I had a guy give me a life jacket. And seriously, I put it on when he gave it to me and it fit. When we went fishing the other day, I couldn't get it on. I'd gained too much weight. Iron Dome comes down with brownie points. That's right, Steven Sturgeon. And I got 3 days that I can actually just shoot as many missiles at that Iron Dome as possible. Fly fishing for redfish is awesome. They put up a heck of a fight. I want to do that. Join us Sunday on the tee and float with myself and Walton. On the hooch? Is that what you're talking about? The tee? Man, I probably drown. I ain't that good in that yak yet. Chester tee. We might do that. That might be a date. Tell me where you're putting in at and what time. Sunday. Alex would say Sunday. What, man, none of you guys go to church? You guys need to be going to church Sunday morning. That's where I'm going to be. Unless I go fishing with you guys. I might play hooky. Lord forgive me. Have you used those Japanese baits that look like microorganisms? You talking about those like what did we call them? We had a thing. God is on the lake too. Sure he is. I know, but you can't use that as an excuse to not go. I realize that. He's in the woods too. He's everywhere. Understand. Corporate worship is okay. Stickman dice. I know that. Lake service on Allatoona, then go fishing. That's right. Chester T Big Adventure Outfitters, 9 a.m. Oh, y'all are paying for somebody to take you fishing? Like going with a guide? Is that what you guys are doing? Yeah, I know it's the fishing is my church. Okay, listen. I did that for a long time, guys. That was the same thing that I always said. But sometimes, listen, it ain't going to hurt you guys to walk in the door and sit down a little bit. It's good for the soul. It's good for the soul. I ain't say you got to do it every day. You guys need to come to church with me. Every one of you are invited. I promise you, if that place don't burn down when I walk through the doors, it's safe for all of you. Absolutely safe for all of you. Promise you. Amen, brother. Preach it. No, I mean, like I'm just being serious. I like it. I like going to church. Do I act like a heathen to others? Yeah, I do. I need that Sunday morning sometimes. And I love going to church. Second row, baby, right there up front. Because you know why? Because I need it. I ain't judging none of you guys. I need it. But I might, I find my religion on the water looking up at Jesus. Dude, you ain't looking up at Jesus. You looking at your line and your rod. Come on, Dino. I'm not saying you can't, dog. I'm just giving you a hard time. Can't get any closer to God than nature. I don't know, Alex. That's debatable. You know where you can get closer to him? On your knees. That's where you get closer to him. We need an on the water service like the Ozark show had. Yeah, we do. You guys are funny. I do agree with you. Listen, you don't have to walk into church to do that. I'm giving you guys a hard time. Absolutely giving you a hard time. But every one of you are invited to come with me if you want to. We can kind of we'll sit in our own little section. It can be the heathen section because that's what I say my row is. And you guys can sit with me. The word and prayer, 100%. Absolutely. And listen, like, that's just being honest. Like, you can. He's everywhere. He's in everything. I'd go if I was nearby. Well, yeah. We need to take ours. We got a pretty cool preacher. He is not a screamer by no means. And he's very, very, he teaches a lot. But he looks at me a lot when he's doing it. And I'm like, you still doing the interviews with guests that log in? Well, we tried it yesterday, and I sent the guest that was going to come on the wrong link. And if I'm honest, it was my fault. But yes, we're going to be doing Tuesdays and Thursdays. Viewer, I'm going to have you viewers on. Got to figure out how I'm going to do it with TikTok because you're not going to be able to see it. But anyway, how long have we been going? Hour 23. Yeah, let's call it a day with this. So first of all, guys, thank you for coming hanging out with me during lunchtime. I love this time. I absolutely love it. And then if you are on the water this weekend, be safe. There's going to be a lot of yahoos out there that you guys are on the water all the time, and you guys do pay attention, and you know how to be safe. Most of you. But a lot of people that's going to be on the water this weekend because it's the final, hurrah of summer. They may not be as careful as you guys. So you guys be very, 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 very careful out there. Wear your life jacket. Wear your life jackets. And because I want to see you guys coming back. Jandon says take care of everybody. There are a lot of dummies out there. I will be back Tuesday. Not doing anything Monday. So Alex, if you want to go, if you're going Sunday over there, let me know. I'll probably go with you, dude. I'm just giving you a hard time about not going to church. Before you just go, I want to say thank you for the videos. I've learned a lot from you, Mason Randall. You're welcome. And just kind of stay tuned. I kind of mentioned it yesterday. I haven't let the cat out of the bag, but you're going to see a lot of changes social media wise with FNGO. That's going to help you guys kind of target you to where you need to be. There's a lot coming. So, but with that, I am going to call it a day. I'm going to go paint some jig heads, tie some jigs, see if 5 can get here pretty fast so I can go home. But y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy your time out on the water. Enjoy your family. Most of all, be safe so we can see you again here on Monday. I'm going to get rid of if my thing isn't dead. There we go. This mouse works half the time and half the time it doesn't. So there we go. Where we are. All right, I'm going to hit my YouTube, guys. YouTube, we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a great weekend.